May I request that you all stand while we bring in the casket? And while the porter is bringing the casket, we'll play a song that Robbie really liked, Tears from Heaven by Eric Clapton. So Tendai, who's providing the music this afternoon, Tendai, can I ask you to start with the music? Thank you. May you take your seats again. Thanks, Tendai. So good afternoon and welcome. I'm Segi Pillay, and I must say it's my wish that Neela and the family find comfort in the treasured memories of Christopher Raman, but known to the family as Logie, and I think to all of his friends. In fact, I wasn't even aware that he was also called Chris. Makes sense, short form for Christopher. But I think for the rest of us, he was lovingly known as Logie. Now the family had asked Tendai to provide the music, and I recall probably a year ago at Les, your birthday, right? And Tendai played the music, and Logie really had a really good time at your last birthday. I know you just had a birthday a couple of days ago, but at your last birthday, so I think it's appropriate we have Tendai here because Logie really enjoyed the music. So I want to thank all of you for coming here this afternoon. And the plan for this next hour or so is to keep things relatively light. Logie was a fun-loving person, really enjoyed a good time. And those of you who know Logie really well knows that it's parties that he loved more than anything else. And when we spoke to Neela yesterday, she was very clear. Let's have a proper celebration. So it is going to be for the next hour, really reflecting on Logie's life, hopefully some lessons that would come out of it. We'll share some of the music that he liked, and there may be some music that's appropriate to certain kind of settings. There's also a short presentation that we will do, because as the speakers speak, we want to be able to show the evidence that actually it's all true. It'll be captured in the photographs. So we really appreciate that today people have made time to come in, because today is Women's Day. And I think it'll be fit to also say that Logie himself, but the Raman family in general, invested huge amounts in the women in the family. Because if you look at the professional careers and look at the contribution that people are making, there have been really huge investments that have been made in women. And Logie himself ensured that at least 2 of 3, and of course there's a son as well, but he made a point that both of his daughters did exceptionally well. And they are going at least one of them would be speaking later this afternoon. So we are gathered with Neela, the partner of Logie, and the lifelong partner of Logie, his children, his grandchildren, their brothers, and a sister here, one that couldn't join, and then, of course, the extended family and friends. And we're here really to celebrate what I'm going to call a sort of authentic working class hero. And for those of us who remember, and the young people can go and Google this if you haven't heard this before, or if you haven't heard of John Lennon. So John Lennon talks about a working class hero is something to be. And that's exactly what Logie was. So Neela wanted this reflection of the great times and to share the great times that she spent with Logie, that the rest of the family spent with Logie, and to really have almost a kind of party at sorts, but I'm not sure the world's ready for parties yet, immediately after a funeral. But it's really to try and get that part of it. So, you know, as Logie is here, and if he is listening to us, then he'll have a bit of a smile on his face. Because we all know, and part of the reason for Tendai as well, because he's playing with a guitar, Logie was actually a very accomplished guitarist. Well, most of the Ramans, Les, play the guitar really well. The second thing that they did really well, and Logie was exceptional at that, was singing. And every party, in addition to I think it was a time of records, but you'd have somebody playing the guitar and everyone joining in the singing. And of course, the part that I was always impressed with, wow, he was a fantastic ballroom dancer. And of course, with Neela. And so fantastic that, in fact, if you watched him dance, he just pretty much floated across the floor. I mean, it was just amazing. And as I said, he frequented many parties. He worked really hard. And those of you who remember, I mean, I remember him mainly from Venrova Gardens. And so that's my sort of remembrance of him. And I remember his little workshop that he had there, and worked weekends, etc., to supplement his income. So he worked really hard, but played really hard as well. So I think that, I mean, I looked at a couple of poems and I said, you know, what would Logie have wanted for today? And so I found one poem that I thought would actually capture what Logie would have wanted today. And we're trying to capture some of it. We're not going to be able to do all of it, but we'll capture some of it for Logie. And it's a poem called Death by Sean Hughes. And it starts off with, I want to be cremated. And that's going to happen. I know how boring funerals can be. I want people to gather, meet new people, have a laugh, a dance, especially the dance part, I think, Logie, and meet a loved one. And there are lots of loved ones today. So on that note, we have a few speakers today. I think we've got 4 speakers this morning. And I want to ask the first speaker, who's Anand Naidu, if he can come forward. Anand is the son-in-law of Logie, and he's going to share some of his thoughts, some of his reflections and his experience. But more so because Anand and Cheryl and Natalie and Pradeep spent huge amounts of time over the last couple of months with Logie. I mean, I know they've been there every day. So Anand, there we are.
Thanks, Egi. Dear family and friends, my father-in-law, Uncle Logie, a remarkable man that I can only describe as a person that had a deep passion for life and who loved his family and friends. As I stand before you, I'm reminded of the privilege and responsibility I had in getting to know him, learning from him, and becoming a part of his family. As I reflect on the time I spent with him, I'm grateful for the memories we created together. From the holidays to the laughter-filled gatherings, each moment was a precious gift that I will forever hold close to my heart. He welcomed me into his family with open arms and treated me as a son. And for that, I'm profoundly grateful. While this is a somber occasion, I would like us to celebrate the life he lived and the impact he had on all of us. Uncle Logie was a man of great character, a pillar of strength, and a source of wisdom for all who had the privilege to know him. He's been a mentor for many youngsters who have since been extremely successful in their careers. I just want to read out a message from my brother, Pregi, that was his protege. Today is a sad day as we bid farewell to Uncle Logie, a husband, a father, a son, a grandfather, and a phenomenal mentor and educator. Uncle Logie was educated and humble mechanic who spread vast knowledge to all he came into contact with. He was never selfish and always offered a helping hand to guide him through my career. In my formative years, during school holidays and over weekends, I used to go and help him, and as a result of his influence and guidance, I ended up qualifying as a technician. His strong leadership qualities, coupled with his drive for perfection, has certainly rubbed onto me and has helped me to get my current position as director of one of the leading truck franchises. He taught me that success is not final. Failure is not fatal, but the courage to continue is what is important. You leave a legacy of one of the best mechanics will go on forever. We will always remember you for your kind heart and compassion. Rest well, Uncle Logie. We will miss you. May your soul attain eternal peace. Pregi. Uncle Logie carried himself with a quiet dignity that left a lasting impression on everyone he met. His dedication to his family was unwavering, and his kindness and compassion knew no bounds. My dad and Uncle Logie were the best of friends, and they could chat for hours, if not days, never getting bored of each other's company. Dad, you now have your best friend to keep you company. Thank you both for bringing Cheryl and I together 40 years ago. One of the things that struck me most about Uncle Logie was his unwavering work ethic and his commitment to his values. He instilled in his family the importance of honesty, integrity, and perseverance. Although he was medically boarded in his 40s, he never failed to provide the best life for his immediate and extended family. He never hesitated to lend a helping hand whether it was a simple piece of advice or a more significant gesture of support. He taught me that true strength lies in the way we treat others and the love we share. And he showed us that life's simplest pleasures are the most meaningful. He had a way of finding joy in the little things and taught us all to appreciate the moments that often go unnoticed. He loved music, and I fondly remember how he used to play the guitar and sing. He also loved dancing, and him and Auntie Neela was excellent at it. Our dearest Anshu, your dancing partner, has joined you in heaven. Uncle Logie and Auntie Neela had this knack of bringing family together to enjoy themselves, and almost every weekend there was a get-together in Vendrover Gardens. He was also a man of great humor and had an infectious laugh that could brighten even the darkest of days. His stories and jokes would light up the room, and his sense of humor brought so much joy to our family gatherings. My aunties used to love his stories and were extremely fond of him. His life was a testament to the power of love, compassion, and the importance of standing by those we care about. As we say our final goodbyes, let us remember the legacy he leaves behind. Let us carry forward his values, his kindness, and his zest for life. Let us honor his memory by being there for one another, just as he was always there for us. To Uncle Logie, thank you for the love, the laughter, and the lessons. Though you may no longer be with us in the physical sense, your spirit will forever live on in the hearts of those you touched. Thank you for being the wonderful father-in-law that you were, and I will miss you dearly. Thank you.
Thank you, Anand. I think you captured very eloquently the perspective of Logie, his generosity, his kindness, and his caring personality. And I know there's many people in the hall, in this room, will remember the support that he's provided. So despite, his income that he may have had that was just adequate to support the family, but he never hesitated to share that with anyone else who required it at any point. The song that Logie loved and I think played on the guitar as well was Hey Jude by the Beatles. So Tendai, perhaps a short rendition of Hey Jude. Thanks, Tendai. Thank you, Tendai. Thank you. He's really getting into the songs. So the next two people, I'm going to ask them to come up in the meantime, are Logi's grandchildren, Andreas and Trishanta. Oh, all of them, come round. So while you're doing that, we thought that the song that would be appropriate before the grandchildren spoke, because we know that the grandchildren meant a lot to Logi and brought him the greatest of joy. He meant so much to them and will be in their hearts forever. So we're gonna ask for the song You Raise Me to be played.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today as we celebrate the life of our beloved grandfather, Logi Christopher Lolo Tata, Logi Tata, Tata Lols, a man known by many different names, but was consistent in his qualities and his character, qualities which we can only hope to inherit. He was hardworking, talented, and had a great sense of humor. He loved his family endlessly. We would like to share a few of our fond memories that we've had the privilege of sharing with our grandfather. So we all knew him as a provider, and I personally knew him as the provider of my pocket money. I distinctly remember when Lolo Tata and Grandma would visit us in Gauteng. I've arrived home from school, firstly to have him shout at me for why I came home so late. I'd quickly change out of my uniform and then join him straight at the pool table. We'd spend multiple hours playing pool, and often we'd bet 1 or 2 rand, which by the end of the night resulting in my pockets being filled with change. And though I like to believe that I was a better player back then, I always had the feeling that he would just let me win to see that smile of victory on my face.
As many of you might know, I am Tata's first tutu girl. Though Tata might have gotten quiet over the years, I remember him as the life of the party. My cousins often tease me about how I got my loud personality from him. I have been immensely blessed to have traveled the world with Tata, and I will be forever grateful to him for tolerating and singing along to Barney songs which blasted on repeat during our long road trips across countries. Tata was talented in many ways, but what stood out for me were his dancing and guitar playing skills, as many have already mentioned. His love for dance and music have been a huge inspiration to me. I can only hope to dance and play guitar as long as he did, as he never passed up an opportunity to dance or listen to some old-time classics.
Tata had a great sense of humor and loved to laugh, which I always appreciated. I'll never forget how Grandma would give him money to spend when we would travel. And when she asked him what he spent it on, he'd probably point at me with an ice cream in my hand. I guess I owe my love for ice cream to him. I'd also like to think that my love for Lego comes from Tata's love of fixing and building things. He was a hardworking, dedicated, and determined man, and I strive to be just like him.
My grandfather gave me many things. My love for cars, my dashing looks, and my ability to be more humble than everyone around me. He was a man who overcame adversity and worked tirelessly to provide the best opportunities for his children, which in turn allowed his grandchildren to have even more opportunities. In many ways, we are the luckiest. As his grandchildren, we got to reap the rewards of spending quality time with him after he retired, and for this, we will forever be grateful.
As many of you know, I'm Logi Tata's second tutu girl. My grandfather was a complex man who hated noise but loved music. I consider myself the luckiest of his grandchildren, as after I was born, Grandma Logi Tata moved to Gauteng, allowing me to always spend time with her. I will always treasure these memories together. Logi Tata loved children and spending time entertaining us. He might have been 84 years old, but he was always young at heart.
We also have a message from Lolo Tata's eldest grandson, Myron, who unfortunately couldn't join us today. My earliest memories of Lolo Tata were from his garage in Vinrover. His passion for fixing cars is unrivaled, and his work ethic is what I strive for. His discipline and appreciation for good tools is something that I appreciate and respect even in my current work. Lolo Tata was the type of man that could be covered in grease while working on his cars, and within an hour fully transform into a gentleman in a suit ready to hit the ballroom dance floor. Whenever he and Grandma stepped on the dance floor, it was a sight to be seen. With Lols, what you see is what you get. He taught us to be ourselves, to be happy, and to be disciplined. He was a man of integrity, honesty, and courage. Lols was always very inquisitive, perhaps a bit too inquisitive at times, especially after going for that sunrise stroll in Bali and not telling anyone about it. On the other hand, watching Lolo Tata break it down on the dance floor at my wedding is a memory that I will cherish forever. We looked forward to his visits while we were at home from school watching TV, and he would often sneak through the back door and announce himself by happily whistling away. He traveled the world with Grandma, who was his soulmate and partner in crime. They visited many places and made many friends along the way. They shared their stories and photos with us, inspiring us to follow our dreams and see the beauty in everything we do. They also loved their families more than anything. They were always there for us, supporting us, encouraging us, and spoiling us with their love. I will miss him, but I will always remember him fondly. I will carry him in my heart and in my mind. I will always love him and thank him for everything he did for me and for all of us. We've been told by many people that back in the day, our Tata was a bit serious when working in the workshop. However, we only knew him as our soft, kind, loving Tata that we would get anything we ever wanted from. And that is always how we will remember him. Rest in peace, Lolo Tata. You are gone, but never forgotten. We love you.
Thank you. So you can see the love here from the grandchildren. Thank you very much for that. So before we move on to the next item, Tenda, if you can play Wonderful Tonight, and those of you who know the song, it's an Eric Clapton song, and I'm sure, Nila, before you went off, this is exactly what Logi said to you when you got ready for the next party, right? Wonderful Tonight. So listen to the lyrics of the word, of the song. Thanks, Tenda. you, Tenda. So Neela, that's a song for you. So last night the family went through a whole lot of photographs, and there are hundreds and hundreds of photographs of Logi, because he's been all over the world, visiting all the places, looking at some of the early days and more recent photographs. And obviously we don't have the time to go through all of the photographs, and Visham and the team put together a short presentation, which we will now play. Visham, are you ready? Oh, sorry. My apologies. Trishanta put it together. So.
Everything was dark, oh yeah, yeah. All of a sudden, on came the lights, and everything was feeling right. People started dancing, they called me over to join in. They said, JT, don't you feel good, man? Come on and join the reggae jam. I heard them singing, ooh la la la, hey, hey, hey. Let's go dancing, ooh la la la. Come on, let's go reggae dancing, ooh la la la. Let's go dancing, ooh la la la. Reggae dancing, I wanna get to know you. time of my life. No, I never felt this way before.
Thank you. Thank you, Trishanda, for putting together that presentation. I think it sort of captured many, many years. Obviously, with WhatsApp, we're seeing more of the later photographs. But I think you'll all agree that super couple, you saw the both of them, right, in their youth, really super couple, and an absolutely amazing family. So while we go on to before we get on to the next speaker, Tenda, you're gonna play us a short rendition of Let It Be, and I'll ask Neri, Logi's niece, to come up in the meantime.
Thank you, Tendai. Good afternoon, dear family and friends. I have the honor of saying a few words about Uncle Logie. Maya Angelou said, "The legacy you leave are the lives you've touched," and that could be no more true than those words. I want to share two key messages about the value Uncle Logie added to my life. The first is his amazing love for the RAMAN family, the extended family, and sharing his home with me and our family. I went to stay with Uncle Logie in October of my matric year in 1989. It was an emotional transition as our family unit split when my parents moved to Richards Bay. My parents and siblings stayed separately, and my matric exams started soon. Uncle Logie accepted me lovingly into his home. He spoiled me almost every day, all through my university days. And he not only welcomed me, but he welcomed Visham into his home as well. And he supported us every day through our graduations until my wedding day, which was from his home. During my university days, I traveled by bus. And on more than one morning, when I forgot my favorite lunch in the frantic morning run, he would actually drive through a few bus stops in Tongat until he found the bus and he would drop off my lunch. I'm forever grateful. The second is his love for music, especially the guitar, and thanks Tendai for your awesome music. His love for dance and nice cars. The home parties which I enjoyed and appreciate to this day were inspired by him and my uncles and will always remain the most special part of my childhood. He had a passion for cars, and even that he shared with his family. And after I got my license, he even allowed me to drive his silver E-Class Mercedes-Benz. It was no problem to share, especially as I was such an inexperienced driver, so it was quite a treat. I could say so much more about Uncle Logie, including that he took me to the first Grand Prix, and he shared just so much more. But last night, this morning actually, at around 1:30, I opened my sister Yuvashni's note. She's currently in Barcelona. And then I thought, I don't need to say any more. So I want to read a bit about Yuvi's note. She said, in life, we are always surrounded by unsung heroes who work tirelessly for the benefit of others and who expect nothing in return. My uncle was one of that. In a way, it was a paradox of fear and love to me as I reflect on the memories of him as a child, and now that I'm an adult. Why fear, one may ask? Well, when we were young, we were quite scared of Uncle Logie. Even though he was small, he was a giant of a man, and he never liked crying children. And I was one of those crying children. And my mom would often tell me how she would go to the neighbor's house, especially when Uncle Logie came in from work. And also when he had an apprentice in the garage who wouldn't listen to him or brought him the wrong tools, we would hear some very colorful language. But now, as I reflect on the memories as an adult, I understand his need for perfection in his career, and all he ever wanted, even to the last few days, was for children to be happy. He was very uncomfortable when children cried. He often wondered what worried them. Why love, she then says. The giant of a man had a heart of gold. He worked harder than most, holding a full-time job as well as running his own garage late into the night so he could provide for not just his family, but so many more. His home was always open to everyone, our family and the community where we lived. To my immediate family, he provided a roof over our heads when we needed it the most. He shared so much and filled our lives with so much warmth, joy, music, and most of us dance, as we've heard. I don't think there's anyone in our extended family whose life was not touched by him and by my Auntie Nina in some way or another. True angels that walk this earth. Thank you, Uncle Logie, for showing me that hard work could achieve what hard work could achieve, irrespective of what may stand in our way. Thank you for your humility and undying loyalty to family, for teaching me the lesson of how important family is and about respect. You leave a mark on so many lives. You will always be in our hearts. You will be sorely missed, but it's your time to rest now. No one is more deserving. You are loved deeply, always. Your niece, Yuvi. And he never called her full name, she says. Thank you, Yuvi, for those wonderful words. I also have a message from Hirsch and the Bika family, which I'd now like to read. Dearest Uncle Logie, Lolo Tata, Lols, over the years, we have affectionately and wittingly called you by many names, but Lolo Tata stayed with us as your grandkids arrived. Thank you for being an amazing part of the union of the Bikas and the Ramans. We hold fond memories of our very first visits to your humble home in Tongat more than 20 years ago. You and Auntie Nila always welcomed us, provided the best meals and even better company. We enjoyed our travels abroad and locally with you and Auntie Nila. Everything was a celebration with you. We would sing, dance, drink, and eat. I hold such special treasures today, including our whirlwind India trip, touring from the north to the south, our extravagant Dubai trip, the adventure we had on the adventures of the sea while cruising the Caribbean, and the awesome experience listening to Taylor Swift perform in New York while we watched the ball drop, taking our trip to Washington, Las Vegas, and chilling at the Grand Canyon. What about watching the Davis Cup with you, the Soccer World Club, traveling with our family from India into the heart of the Eastern Transvaal and various other experiences. From day one, you knew that, and you treated us never as in-laws, but always as family that grew deeper every day. We knew we could always turn to you and your family. Today, we honor and celebrate amazing you and are grateful for the meaningful life well lived. We're definitely going to miss you, your laughter, your tuneful whistling, and wise cracks around the house. Thank you for sharing your family and your life with us. May your soul attain eternal moksha. Lots of love from the Bekas, Amritlal, Nirmala, Pradeep, Miniksha, and Hershala. And I think the hardest part of today was that my brother is not here, because I know he would have been one of the first here today. But to all my cousins and all the family abroad, we are thinking about you, and even the ones that couldn't make it today, we know that your love and thoughts and prayer are with all of us. Uncle Logie, thank you for everything you did for my parents, my siblings, and myself. You are a superstar and a hero. May God bless you always. Last night, I was talking to Angela, and she wanted me to really say thank you to the whole family and all their friends for the good times and the support, and even in the not so good times, sadness, etc. But it's really been a pillar of strength to everybody over the years. Angelina wanted me to also say a very big thank you to her children, Cheryl, Trevor, and Natalie, and also importantly to Anand, Pradeep, and Charindra. They cared for Uncle Logie and loved him until the last day, and it doesn't go unseen. We are so, so grateful for everything. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the celebration with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Niri. Phone. So we're coming towards the end, and we have just one final speaker left. Anyone can be a father, but it takes someone special to be a dad. As we ask Logie's daughter, Natalie, to come up and deliver the final address, tonight, a short song while she comes up.
Good afternoon, family and friends. I stand here with ambivalence. I have a heavy heart and great sadness, but I am also grateful that my dad had such an amazing life. In our family, my parents knew their roles so well and complemented each other. My dad being the financial provider and my mom looking after the home. At 5 p.m., the ladies knew Logie was coming home from work and he didn't want noise, i.e. screaming children. My gran would scoop us up and take us for a walk in Catherine Street. He wasn't one to show his affection. However, Cheryl, Trevor, and I always knew he was there for us. He was rock solid. My dad, however, changed when his grandchildren arrived. My dad, with no hesitation, dropped his entire life and relocated to Pretoria to take care of my kids. Thea had him wrapped around her little finger. The little ones in the family had such an affinity to him, and he loved playing with them. As Trishanta mentioned, he affectionately referred to his granddaughters as my tutu girls. Early on in his life, he realized school was not his thing. He loved working with his hands. He wanted to be a mechanic and had a passion for cars. He took such pride in his work and made a great success in his career. Growing up in the 80s, I realized that we were quite spoiled. I remember the excitement when he bought us a television, and all the kids from our neighborhood shared this new experience. He also bought a yellow Toyota Bucky and once again would load all the kids in Catherine Street and take us to Newtown Fun Fair in Durban. He taught us to share the blessings that we had with everyone around us. He came from simple, humble beginning. However, he was so worldly knowledgeable. I think my passion for travel comes from my dad. I remember being a little girl when he went on his boys' trips to Europe and Bangkok. He loved traveling with his friends and had such fun holidays. Only when we got older, he started to take us on trips. We enjoyed our annual trips to Sun City, Wild Coast, or Swaziland, and I have fond, exciting memories of him coming down the Temple of Courage and me screaming out, "Dad, you're gonna have a heart attack!" But the Logie we all knew was headstrong and determined and flew past, gushing down the slide. He believed in exposing us to different life experiences. At the age of 21, he sent me solo on a Kontiki trip of Europe. He believed that I was capable of traveling alone and allowed me to gain independence. When Trevor moved to Sweden and I to UK, he made his yearly trips to Europe. He loved traveling with Trevor, Sharindra, Ava, and the kids. He enjoyed the road trips in Trevor's 7-seater, exploring the little towns in Europe. His personality was larger than life. He would enter the house with his distinctive whistle, and everyone knew Logie arrived. He loved a good whiskey and to party. I inherited my dancing feet from my dad. He and my mom graduated from the Dudley Andrews Dance Studio, and this was really something in the 80s. He loved being on the dance floor, especially with his late cousin Anshu. He was a talented musician, and Cheryl definitely followed in Dad's footsteps with her music talent. We will always remember the parties in Bluetown that would go on to the early hours of the morning. Then the guitars would come out and the RAMAN brothers would play while the rest of us sang. Trevor has fond memories with my dad at the racecourse as they both shared their passion for horse racing and enjoyed gambling. His favorite jockey was Striker Stratum. He used to love Striker. Our last trip to the US in 2014 was phenomenal. It was when he was still able to travel. He braved the cold temperatures of -2 in New York City and watched the ball drop in Times Square. His dream was to play the tables in Las Vegas, and he accomplished this during this trip and also enjoyed Boys to Men. Being the daredevil that he was, he insisted on doing the Transformer ride in Universal Studio in spite of the warning, not recommended for cardiac patients. I remember saying, Dad, you can't go on the ride. You have a cardiac condition. And him responding, my girl, you only live once. He always wanted Cheryl and I and the other ladies in the family to be independent women who had careers. He also encouraged us all to learn how to drive and be able to drive into any car, and that meant you had to get a manual license. My father inspired us to be honest, diligent, and passionate about whatever we did, and he afforded us so many varied life experiences. Dad, if I could write a story, it would be the greatest ever told, of a kind and loving dad who had a heart of gold. I could write 1,000,000 pages, but still be unable to say just how much Cheryl, Trevor, and I love you. We will remember all that you taught us and all that you sacrificed just to watch us grow. Dad, you leave us with special memories, and we thank you for your love and life. I also want to do a vote of thanks. It wasn't easy getting today's function in such a short time all done. So I just want to thank a few people. A huge thank you to all our family and friends for gracing us with your presence and offering support to our family during this difficult time. A special thank you to the Sri Pretoria Hindu Seva Samaj for allowing us to use their venue. To RAN Funeral Services, you were awesome. Yesterday, during the most difficult time in the morning, your caring words really were amazing and got us through a difficult morning. To Pranesh Singh for the catering, and to Ahmed from Designer Weddings for the decor. We really appreciate all your effort in putting today's function together. I think I have to offer a special thank you to Anand, Sharendra, and Pradeep. From Trevor, Cheryl, and I, you always treated my father like your own and loved him unconditionally. We are so grateful for all that you guys have done. You really brought such joy to my dad's life, and from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so, so much.
Thanks, Natalie. So we've come to the end, and I think you'll all agree that there just isn't the time to celebrate the person that Logie was. And all of you know that Logie was a short guy, right? But clearly a small guy, but full of energy, full of passion for life. And I hope that all of these values that you've heard all of this afternoon, that while we're going to miss Logie, his values, his passion, his zest for life, I think will live in every one of us. And this is the way we're going to remember his legacy and celebrate his legacy. I wanted to, but just before we close, I wanted to read a poem that I think sort of reflects the values that we should all be thinking about. But it also captures Logie's own life. So the poem goes, not how did he die, but how did he live? Not what did he gain, but what did he give? These are the units of measure of a person regardless of their birth. Not what was his church, nor what was his creed, but what he befriended, but that he befriended those really in need. Was he ever ready with words of good cheer to bring back a smile and to banish a tear? Not what did the sketch in the newspaper say, but how many were sorry when he passed away. And I think that sort of captures and epitomizes what Logie is. But at the end of these sort of events like this, and there have been many funerals that we've been attending more recently, at the end of the day, there must be something that we can take forward. And I think Logie leaves a rich legacy of what we can take forward, whether we're young, whether we're old. So there was a vote of thanks that Natalie has provided, but I also want to record my appreciation for being given the privilege of sort of being the program director for this afternoon. we're all going to really miss Logie. And sorry. And as we bid our final farewell to Logie, there are two songs that we'd like to play. The first is Jealous of the Angels. For those of you who have not had an opportunity to pay your final respects, you may do so now. Family, friends, we're almost at the end, so if you just bear with us for another 2 or 3 minutes. Family, hello, friends, can you bear with us for another few minutes? We'll be done in the next 2 or 3 minutes. We have come to the end, family and friends, and I'm going to, as we bid farewell to Logie, I'm going to ask all of you to stand. Oh, before you do that, I should just indicate, please, the family has asked me to invite all of you. There is a meal that's provided, and it's going to happen immediately after the casket leaves the venue. But the family will be here, and we hope that all of you can make some time, spend some time chatting, just reminiscing, and again, kind of talking about your personal experiences with Logie, with family and other friends that are here. So I make an appeal, please join us. And for those of you who need to have bathrooms, etc., they're just outside this building on the right-hand side, I think. Okay. Okay, so if I may call the immediate family to do the last viewing before we close the casket. Tendai, I think as the casket goes out, we'll play the final song, and I know Logie loved this, Candle in the Wind by Elton John. Amagashle Logi, until our paths cross again. And you can taste some other music in the meantime.
Come, guys.
Thank you.